Imagine if a single glass of something you can make in your own kitchen could quietly reset the way your body handles fat, especially the stubborn kind around your stomach that never seems to go away. No expensive supplements, no punishing workouts, no starving yourself, just water and a few ingredients you probably already have. Sounds like another internet exaggeration, right? Stay with me because the actual science behind what I'm about to share has been studied in real clinical research, and once you understand how it works, your mornings will never look the same again. And before we go any further, if you're new here, take a second and hit that subscribe button. This channel is built around honest, evidence-based health content, no hype, no empty promises, just the truth about how your body actually works and how to get the most out of it. All right, let's get into it. Every single morning, somewhere around the world, a huge number of people roll out of bed, walk past a mirror, and feel that same quiet frustration. They've tried the diets, they've tried the workouts, they've cut carbs, cut sugar, counted calories, and still that ring of fat around the middle just refuses to budge. Here's the truth that almost nobody talks about. Belly fat is not just a calorie problem. It's a hormonal problem. It's an inflammation problem. It's a metabolism problem. And until you address those underlying issues, no amount of crunches or salad bowls will give you the body you actually want. The good news is that the fix begins the moment your eyes open in the morning, before you eat anything, before you scroll your phone, before you even brush your teeth. Now, to really understand why this matters, we have to look at what belly fat actually is, because most people don't realize that not all fat in your body behaves the same way. The fat that sits deep inside your abdomen, wrapped around your liver, your intestines, and other organs is called visceral fat. And visceral fat is not passive. It's metabolically active, which means it actively pumps inflammatory chemicals and stress hormones into your bloodstream every single day. That's why people with high levels of belly fat are at much greater risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, and a long list of hormonal issues. To make things harder, visceral fat is one of the very last areas your body chooses to burn from, and one of the very first places it loves to store new fat. So if you've been wondering why this region feels like it has a mind of its own, that's exactly why. So what causes your body to keep storing fat in this area in the first place? It really comes down to three connected drivers. The first is cortisol, your primary stress hormone. When cortisol stays elevated for long periods, whether from poor sleep, constant pressure at work, or just chaotic daily life, your body interprets that as danger and responds by storing fat directly around your midsection as an emergency energy reserve. The second is insulin resistance. When your cells stop responding properly to insulin, the sugar in your blood has nowhere useful to go, so your body shuttles it straight into fat storage, especially around the belly. The third is chronic low-grade inflammation, which silently slows your metabolism and interferes with the hormones that should be telling your body to burn fat. Until these three factors are addressed, you can diet and exercise forever and still feel stuck in the same place. This is exactly the reason morning rituals carry so much weight. The moment you wake up, your body is in a fasted state. Your cortisol is naturally at its highest peak of the entire day. Your metabolism is just beginning to switch on after hours of rest. And what you put into your body during this short window has a powerful effect on whether the rest of your day tilts toward burning fat or storing it. Most people unknowingly sabotage this window. They reach straight for sugary coffee. They skip hydration entirely. They go straight to processed breakfast foods that send their blood sugar on a roller coaster. The result is a body that spends the next 12 hours playing defense instead of doing its job efficiently. So here is the drink. And I promise this isn't some imported powder or pricey wellness product. Everything you need is sitting in most kitchens right now. You take one tall glass of warm water. Not cold, warm. Into that water, you squeeze the juice of half a fresh lemon. You add half a teaspoon of raw apple cider vinegar, ideally the kind that still has the cloudy strands at the bottom called the mother. You sprinkle in a small pinch of cinnamon, preferably Ceylon if you can find it. And if you can handle a little heat, you add a tiny pinch of cayenne pepper. Stir it well, and that's your entire recipe. Simple, cheap, and surprisingly powerful when you understand what each ingredient is actually doing inside you. Let's start with the warm water itself, because people underestimate this part. Drinking warm water first thing in the morning gently wakes up your digestive tract. helps move out the waste your body processed during the night, and slightly raises your core temperature, which signals your metabolism to come online. Cold water on an empty stomach actually forces your system to spend energy reheating it, which can cause a small stress response. Warm water cooperates with your body's natural rhythm rather than fighting against it. Now, lemon juice. Most people know lemons are full of vitamin C, but the real magic here comes from the citric acid and a flavonoid compound called naringenin. Research has shown that naringenin can act almost like a natural fat-burning signal, helping reduce fat buildup in liver cells and improving the way your body responds to insulin. On top of that, even though lemons taste acidic, once your body metabolizes them, they actually have an alkalizing effect, which helps quiet the internal inflammation that fuels stubborn fat storage in the first place. Then we have apple cider vinegar, which is honestly one of the most thoroughly researched natural ingredients when it comes to belly fat specifically. The active compound responsible for its effects is acetic acid, and what acetic acid does inside your body is impressive. It slows the rate at which your stomach empties after meals, which keeps you full longer. It improves how your cells respond to insulin, so glucose gets used as energy instead of stored as fat. It blunts the blood sugar spikes that normally follow carb-heavy meals, and it sends signals to your brain that naturally reduce appetite throughout the day. A well-known study published in the journal Bioscience, Biotechnology, and Biochemistry followed people who consumed vinegar daily for 12 weeks and found measurable reductions in their belly fat, waist size, and blood triglycerides compared to those who did not. This isn't a wellness trend, this is documented research. Cinnamon is the next ingredient, and most people see it as just a baking spice. But it might be one of the most underrated insulin-supporting foods on the planet. Cinnamon contains compounds like cinnamaldehyde and a small amount of bioactive chromium, both of which help your body handle blood sugar more efficiently. With consistent use, your cells absorb glucose better, your blood sugar stays steadier throughout the day, and your body has far less excess sugar to convert into fat. On top of that, cinnamon carries powerful anti-inflammatory properties, which addresses one of the deepest root causes of belly fat we already talked about. Even a small daily amount has been shown in studies to lower fasting blood sugar over time when used consistently. If you decide to add that tiny pinch of cayenne, here is what happens. Cayenne contains a compound called capsaicin, which is what gives chili peppers their heat. Capsaicin is what's called a thermogenic, meaning it gently raises your body temperature, which forces your system to burn slightly more calories just to balance itself back out. It also suppresses appetite, lowers levels of the hunger hormone ghrelin, and has been shown to specifically target visceral fat over time. Several studies have found that regular capsaicin intake can reduce abdominal fat measurements even without major changes to diet or exercise. It's a small ingredient with a surprisingly outsized effect. Now, here is what makes this drink so powerful when you put all of these together first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Your cortisol is already elevated at that hour. The lemon and apple cider vinegar immediately go to work bringing inflammation down and improving how your body handles sugar. The cinnamon begins steadying your blood sugar before your first meal even arrives, which means whatever you eat for breakfast causes a smaller insulin spike than it normally would. The warm water has already activated digestion and started moving lymph fluid through your system. And the cayenne has switched on your thermogenic engine for the day. You are essentially shaping your hormonal environment within the first 10 minutes of being awake. Instead of starting the day in a fat-storing mode, you've nudged your body into a fat-burning mode. That single shift, repeated every morning, compounds in ways that genuinely change how your body looks and feels. Now let me be straight with you, because that's what this channel is about. This drink on its own is not going to erase the effects of a poor diet, terrible sleep, or a completely sedentary lifestyle. What it does is remove the hidden hormonal and inflammatory roadblocks that quietly prevent your body from burning belly fat even when you're doing other things right. Think of it as unlocking the door. You still have to walk through it. The people who see the most dramatic transformations from this drink are the ones who pair it with simple foundational habits. Getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep most nights. Eating mostly real, whole foods. Moving your body in some form every day, even if it's just a 30-minute walk. When this drink becomes part of that bigger picture, the results can be remarkable. There is one last thing I have to say, and it's the part most people skip over. Consistency is the entire game. Your body doesn't transform in 3 days or even in a week. The hormonal recalibration, the improvement in insulin sensitivity, the gradual cooling of chronic inflammation, all of these things build slowly over weeks of repetition. The biggest reason people fail with simple protocols like this is that they try it twice, see no instant change, and quit. The ones who commit to 30 straight days are the ones who come back saying their waist has visibly shrunk, their cravings have dropped, their energy in the afternoon is better, and they actually feel something different in their body. Trust the process. Give your body time. The science is real and the results are real, but they belong to the people who simply show up every morning and make the drink. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, before you brew your coffee, before anything else, take 5 minutes for yourself. Warm water, half a lemon, half a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, a pinch of cinnamon, and if you're feeling bold, a tiny pinch of cayenne. Stir it well, sip it slowly, and let your body take care of everything else. If this video helped you, share it with someone in your life who has been quietly struggling with stubborn belly fat. It might be the small piece they've been missing. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because we put out research-backed health content every single week with no gimmicks and no shortcuts that don't actually work. Just real information that helps you take better care of your body. I'll see you in the next one.